I don't know how many times I started this video. I keep getting interrupted or whatever. Um, okay, well, today is November 22nd. It happens to be my birthday. So, and it happens to be same birthday that my grandfather had. And it's a sort of an ominous day for many Americans because it was also the same day that JFK was murdered, and I think the first coup that America had, unbeknownst to many Americans at the time. Um, anyway, I think history will prove that out, and has proved that out. So anyway, uh, so many things going on in politics still. Don't know if Trump's going to be prosecuting Hillary. We'll have to see on that one. Something was mentioned several times in their YouTubes about him not going after Hillary's emails. So we'll see what happens with that. It's one of his campaign promises, sort of. He didn't really make a promise about it, just people kept saying lock her up, you know. So I know they want her locked up. And rightfully so, because what she's involved in and everything is just evil and, pedophilia, satanic rituals, Bill Mitz being into voodoo and all that crap. And what a bunch of, how sad. Anyway. Mostly I am concerned about the children, and that's the number one thing I want, sex slavery to stop, and pedophilia and all of that. We live in a very sick and evil world. And as I said on my last videos, why is that? Is because the fall of man, because of the watchers who fell, and also because of Babylon and so forth. It's not what God intended. God intended for us to live in harmony with him in the Garden of Eden, with he and his host, other angels. And we were to commune and have fellowship with him and live in a wonderful, beautiful place. Kind of heaven on earth, if you will. But that's not what happened. So we do have sin in the world, but God will be taking care of that in the end. And so I wanted to get into the book of Judges with you today, and get going on that. And I in my last video I told about what this book is going to be about, and I'm hoping that my listeners will be able to read the book of Enoch. I think that it's a good companion to the Bible. And there's 3 books of Enoch, and you want to make sure you get the good book, okay? You can listen to it on YouTube. And you want to make sure that it's the one that talks about the watchers and how Enoch is the one that intercedes with God about them, and so that you understand the history and what happened and what's going on, and with them, and why we still have evil in the world, why we still have demons and unforeseen things that we can't see with the naked eye, okay, and why we have why this great deception is going to be happening. You'll understand that better, I think, because you have, folks in the Vatican and other people saying, oh, they're aliens, they're from another planet. No, more like interplanetary. Okay, and they were angelic hosts of God who decided to not be a part of God any longer. And on their own, a third of them left with Satan and will be. I'm not sure about the timeline here when it comes to, I think only in Revelations does it mention it, so I'm not sure about if it's already been done or it's going to be done. I'm just not sure. When I find out, I'll mention it in a video, okay? But if you know, leave me a comment. And also, there's somebody by the name of Danny left me a comment, but it didn't show up in my comments. I got a notification that you made a comment, but it didn't show up. So if you wouldn't mind, could you redo it again on this video? And then I don't know what you said, so I wanted to reply to you. And again, yes, this is a video for all people, okay? Whether you're straight or gay, doesn't matter. I happen to be, but I'm also a Christian, okay? And I like to talk about the Lord, and I'm reading the Bible at the behest of a suggestion from a subscriber. So I thought it was a good thing to do, because we really need to understand the Old Testament along with the New Testament. All right, so let's get into it. The book of Judges. Hopefully I'll have enough time for this first chapter. All right, so the acts of Judah and Simeon, Adoni-bezek justly requited, Jerusalem and Hebron taken, some Canaanites yet left. See? That's why it's important to know what's going on. Okay. Now, after the death of Joshua, it came to pass that the children of Israel asked the Lord, saying, who shall go up for us against the Canaanites, first to fight against them? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up. Behold, I have delivered the land into his hand. And Judah said unto Simeon his brother, come up with me into my lot, that we may fight against the Canaanites, and I likewise will go with thee into thy lot. So Simeon went with him. There's a lot of these, when you see the verbiage lots given, inheritance given, that's important to note, okay? And Judah went up, and the Lord delivered the Canaanites and the Perizzites into their hand, and they slew of them in Bezek 10,000 men. Also the areas that God gave them, also the areas where they killed these giants, these corrupted DNA individual, half men, half angels, children of, if you look at the area that God gave unto them, that's an important thing to also note, okay? And they found Adoni-bezek in Bezek, and they fought against him, and they slew the Canaanites and the Perizzites. But Adoni-bezek fled, and they pursued after him, and they caught him and cut off his thumbs and his great toes. And Adoni-bezek said, 70 kings, having their thumbs and their great toes cut off, gathered their meat under my table, as I have done, so God hath requited me. And they brought him to Jerusalem, and there he died. Oh, okay, so he did it to other people, so they did it to him. Okay. Now the children of Judah had fought against Jerusalem, and had taken it, and smited it with the edge of the sword, and set the city on fire. And afterward the children of Judah went down to fight against the Canaanites that dwelt in the mountain, and in the south, and in the valley. And Judah went against the Canaanites that dwelt in Hebron. Now the name of Hebron before it was Kirjath Arba, and they slew Sheshai and Ahiman and Talmai. Okay, these are all Canaanites, all corrupted DNA beings, giants. Okay. And from hence he went against the inhabitants of Debir, and the name of Debir before was Kirjath Sepher. And Caleb said that he that smiteth Kirjath Sepher and taken it, to him will I give Asha my daughter to wife. And Orthnanel the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, took it and gave him Asha his daughter to wife. And it came to pass that when she came to him, that she moved him to ask of her father a field, and she lighted from off her ass. And Caleb said unto her, What will thou? And she said unto him, Give me a blessing, for thou hast given me a south land. Give me also springs of water. And Caleb gave her the upper springs and the nether springs. And the children of Canaanite, Moses' father-in-law, went up out of the city of palm trees with the children of Judah into the wilderness of Judah, which lieth in the south of Arad, and they went and dwelt among the people. And Judah went with Simeon his brother, and they slew the Canaanites that inhabited Zephath, and utterly destroyed it, and the name of the city was called Hormah. And Judah took Gaza with the coast thereof, and Ashkelon with the coast thereof, and Ekron with the coast thereof. And the Lord was with Judah, and he drove out the inhabitants of the mountain, but could not drive out the inhabitants of the valley, because they had chariots of iron. And they gave Habron unto Caleb and Moses, and said, and he expelled hence the 3 sons of Anak. And the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Jebusites that inhabited Jerusalem, but the Jebusites dwelt with the children of Benjamin in Jerusalem unto this day. That's interesting. And the house of Joseph, they also went up against Bethel, and the Lord was with them. And the house of Joseph sent to describe Bethel. Now the name of the city before was Luz. I'm not going to be able to finish this in time. And the spies saw a man come forth out of the city, and they said unto him, Show us, we pray thee, the entrance into the city, and we will show thee mercy. And when he showed them the entrance into the city, they smote the city with the edge of the sword, but they let go the man and all his family. And the man went into the land of the Hittites and built a city, and called the name thereof Luz, which is the name thereof unto this day. Neither did Manasseh drive out the inhabitants of Bethshanan and her towns, nor Tanakh and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Dor and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Iblaim and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Megiddo and her towns, but the Canaanites would dwell in that land. I'm going to stop right here on verse 28, and I will continue. Okay, bye-bye.